Welcome everyone. First annual Nomen Mob Mukbang Q&A.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, did I pronounce that right?
I think so. We got the banchan. They make really good, like spicy fried Korean chicken. We got some Narragansetts.
Been on some Bazooka Tooth.
A
Really
nice
good beer.
sour. So some of these are kind of spicy. So this honestly might take like a bit of a hot ones turn at some point if it really messes us up.
Well, should we do some a little bit of a taste test first?
Maybe we should. Maybe we should.
Let's go for it. What are you going for first, spicy or regular?
I think this is the spicy one, yeah.
Yeah, I like to do the spicy first and then cleanse my palate with the regular. I got spicy and soy garlic.
First impression, it seems a little milder today.
We've had some real bad experiences with banchan. I think the last time I had it personally, it was like really spicy. Sometimes it's spicy, sometimes it's pretty mild.
Yeah.
Seems pretty mild today.
Oh yeah, we also got the pickled radishes on the side. Yeah, I'm glad we got banchan because it's been a good minute since I've had it the last time. So, yeah, can't complain. It's good stuff. Highly recommend it. If you're in Alston, hit up the banchan on Harvard Ave and they'll hook it up with some good chicken.
And if you're not in Alston, it's a chain.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of questions here.
So I think the first question that we wanted to answer was, what is Nomen Mob?
So the name is NOMEN, technically, but it's sort of a play on yes men, the phrase yes men. When we're making our music, we try to be as honest as possible with each other and give each other good constructive criticism. So instead of just being yes men and saying everything is great, like we want to be as constructive as possible.
Yeah, you gotta know when to say no.
Exactly, like that's a very important thing, I think, in life in general. Like,
yeah, you're never gonna get anywhere unless someone tells you that your shit sucks.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's important to stay on top of that and be okay with failing sometimes. That's where that came from. Yeah, shout out to Shells. I believe it was Shells who came up with that. So,
shout out to Giselle for asking this question. Kiss, marry, kill, Blade, White Armor, Young Sherman. You wanna go first?
I think I'd have to kill Young Sherman. I love White Armor and Blade so much. I think I'd marry White Armor and kiss Blade.
Yeah, that's crazy because I was thinking the same thing.
Same thing? Yeah.
You can't kill Blade, he's immortal.
Right. Yeah.
You can't kill White Armor because he by far makes the most bangers. Young Sherman, goated producer, one of the best producers of all time. Yeah. But White Armor is prolific. Also, I'm on my second piece of the spicy. Starting to heat up.
Okay.
I'm sweating. I'm wearing a beanie, so that might be it. But
I'm jumping into the garlic.
Speaking of which, I think someone asked what we're wearing. They wanted us to flex on cam.
Okay. So I got the Chicago Blackhawks hat on right now. I've had this for a long time. It was gifted to me by my uncle who used to live in the Chicago area. I got a Stingwater hoodie. We really fuck with Stingwater. Great, like, skate brand. High quality stuff. Like, the hoodie's really cozy.
Shout out to Daniel Kim.
I found these Billionaire Boys Club cargos at Buffalo Exchange for $28 the other day, and I think they retail for like a little over $200. So I was super hyped on that. Nike Air Zoom Types on feet, a really thick sole, just like super rad. Yeah.
Wearing a fucking awesome hat. Not wearing any ice. I gotta go grab some real quick. Had to whip out the classic trap foam Theta necklace. Stockholm Beauty Group. Jersey kind of material.
It looks really nice next to the Stars vinyl.
Yeah, as well. That is good. Wearing some regular ass pants, but I got these Gons Adidas Alohas. Shout out Gons. This is an interesting question from Jesus. Shout out Jesus, Nomen affiliate. What do you look for in someone?
I really like being around independent people, because I'm someone who values like my own independence and like my alone time. So I appreciate when I'm around other people who aren't super reliant on others, like they're off doing their own thing.
I really value just like unique people. Yeah. People who, try to do something different and not even like consciously trying to do something different, but just like really in touch with like the things that are like really special to them.
Sure.
And sort of creating an aesthetic around that. I just really like unique people.
Yeah.
Shout out Rohan, he asked Gamma X Nomen. It's already happened and it's gonna happen again, that's for sure.
Gamma City can send us anything, anytime.
This is a really good question.
Yeah,
shout out to James from Snoozer. Anything you're looking forward to?
Well, I have 2 projects in the works right now. So like a solo album with a few features from people. But yeah, this will be like my first solo project out on streaming, which is exciting. I'm gonna call it Growing Pains, and I think I have a cover for it too, which hopefully I can show soon. Maybe 85% done, something like that. We have Heartbroke Kids #2 coming out. Yeah, we've been going in. Like, I'm very excited.
Long-awaited Thetamancer EP coming out.
Yep.
And then I have some really fun singles that are coming out later.
Oh yeah. James also asked about stuff coming out.
I think just the content in general is really good. Too much to name by far, but I think we're really living in a connected age.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much always looking forward to new stuff coming out, like all the time.
Yeah.
Like, life is so exciting. There's always something new to like learn about or anything.
Also, depending on how things with COVID go, like we could be getting a ton of stuff or nothing at all.
The number one answer to this question is definitely like the COVID vaccine.
Oh, totally. New president, new COVID vaccine.
Absolutely.
In this very moment.
Yeah, in this very moment.
Favorite song, album, and artist.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Definitely Juju. Shout out Juju World. He went from being a struggler to being a consumer. Shout out Cemetery for sure. Shout out Katie Day. Shout out Kelly Lee Owens. Shout out Angel Golden Guaps. Also really excited for Slater's new singles coming out. I think all these artists are going to have a huge year. I'm really excited for all that shit.
Been really liking what Gene Dawson's been doing. His past 2 projects have been amazing. So I'm excited to see what 2021 holds for him. There's been some good music this year.
It was a great year for music.
Yeah.
I really like Katie Day's new album. It's called My Data. Something different. It's kind of like glitchcore electropop. Shout out Run for Cover.
Obviously, we've both really enjoyed Whole Lotta Red. I think for the both of us, like, one of our favorite artists of all time. And I think we really appreciate the direction he went on this album. Is there one song that you've been listening to heavy? I've also been listening to Westfield a lot by Blade.
Yeah, it's a really good song. I've been listening to Dominique by Ella Minus a lot.
There's a song, Hard Times by Young Pinch. His new project came out really recently. West Coast emo rap shit. Oh, EA by Young Nudie, because it was in Godspeed, the new Jolly video.
Shout out Jolly. Shout out to Dante Jolly.
Really good skate video.
Also, shout out to Bruises by Chairlift. If any of you are around my age, you might remember that from the really early iPod ads. Shout out Slater, of course, his new single's Fire, I Spy. Mm-hmm. Shout out 2021 by A.G. Cook. Really great to ring in the new year with that song. Shout out Lolly Puna. I've been listening to her on repeat. She's super good.
So Pedro asked us to rank some beers.
Shout out Pedro, by the way.
Yeah.
Big homie.
Stella's a consistent one for us.
Zuka Tooth's pretty good, but also Vape Tricks from Prairie Brewery.
Try whatever, man.
Angel Golden Guaps. Will you eat a papadilla? It's like a pizza sandwich. I mean, I'm not crazy about eating meat, unless it's fish or chicken. So, in the near future, I do not think I will eat a papadilla. How about you?
I think the concept is interesting. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't even know if there's a Papa John's around us, first of all.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't want to support Papa John's, because isn't Papa John like kind of a piece of shit?
NOMEN is officially anti-Papa John.
Chain pizza, like, he can do better than that.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Jesus for asking this one. Biggest fear?
Oh. I guess I fear, like, lacking direction in life. Uncertainty. I guess that's what instantly comes to mind. But I don't think there's anything that's, like, I'm super, super fearful of. Which is good. But yeah, I always like to have, like, a bit of a plan ahead of me, I guess.
Me too.
And when it feels like that isn't available, like, that can be really scary.
It's cliche, but, like, the fear of failure in my life is pretty surmounting.
Sure.
I mean, I've come so far from, like, where I've started. I've, like, accomplished so much. Like, not to toot my own horn, but, like, in comparison to where I thought I was going to be, I've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that fear of failure never really goes away. You become a more well-rounded person. You learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's gotten better and worse at the same time. Shout out Tim Lucy for this question. What is the scariest monster under our beds?
Ooh. I got a big empty monitor box under there.
My bed goes all the way to the ground. It's a lowrider, so...
You don't even have a gap under there.
Yeah, nothing can get in there. Yeah, I'm good.
So, no monsters up in this apartment.
Yeah. Most anticipated 2021 movie release?
Yeah.
I kind of take movies as they come. I mean, there's such a huge catalog of old movies that I'm yet to watch. Gonna watch Fargo really soon. The one movie that was supposed to come out in 2020 that I'm really looking forward to in 2021 is The French Dispatch. from Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Wes Anderson gets hated on a lot, but, you know, he was my introduction into sort of, like, film. I still really love Wes Anderson, so I'm really looking forward to The French Dispatch. Somebody asked, what's the scariest dream you ever had?
Ooh, I like this one.
No, actually, sorry, it was the weirdest dream you ever had. Oh. You've been telling me that you've had some weird dreams lately.
It's true.
You could probably tell, like, one of the most recent dreams you've had. It might be pretty weird.
I was pretty young when this happened, maybe like 7, 8, I don't know, around that age. And at the time, like, I would have this dream sort of repeat, you know, every week or so. I woke up in my bedroom, pitch black, it's the middle of the night, and I'm just going out of my room across the hallway to the bathroom.
Okay.
But it's pitch black, I can barely see anything. And for some reason, instead of going to the bathroom, I decide to go down the stairwell, like to the first level of our house and into the living room. Mm-hmm. And as I'm like halfway down the stairwell, I looked behind me and there's just sort of this like dark mass, like humanoid looking thing, like shadow thing standing at the top of the stairwell.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. So I start going down the stairwell, like trying to run down the stairwell and get as far away from that thing as I can, but I can't run. Like I'm moving in slow motion, so this thing is just catching up with me, which I feel like people have dreams like that.
Yes, because like you can't move in your sleep, so you have the paralysis like in your dream.
Yeah. Oh, that's another scary thing. I've gotten sleep paralysis before. Like that's probably the scariest one. But this one, like from my childhood, is definitely scary. It's getting closer and closer, and I'm trying to reach the end, and then as soon as it gets right up to me, like I woke up.
Oh wow, well that's good.
But like those like 30 seconds of being chased by that thing was like really scary. Really scary. What about you? Any super scary or weird dreams?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to remember.
Yeah.
Because it's a Thetamancer fact. You forget 90% of your dreams in the first 10 minutes you have them.
It's true.
But once I had a dream that I didn't get the bag. That was pretty scary. Yeah, because that usually happens.
Okay.
When I chase it, I usually get it. Nico, shout out Nico, great photographer. Hit him up.
Great friend.
Great friend. Dream collab. Yeah. Want to start off?
Sure. I feel like it might just have to be Uzi. Because I'd love to just like be in the studio with him and just get to know him as a person before even making a song, you know? And I feel like we could make a vibe. No, it would be cool.
Honestly, my dream collab has already happened. My collab with Slater. I've gotten to collab with some cool people, some people who I'm going to collab with in the future for sure. First person who comes to mind is definitely 100 Gex. I just think overall, like I have some cool vocals that I think would go well alongside theirs. You know, maybe I could add something a little interesting to their mixes.
Is there any like out and out producer that you would want to make stuff with?
100%. One half of the Postal Service, I think it's pronounced Dontel. Shout out the Postal Service, Dontel. I'd do anything to collab with you. Shout out Belvea. Belvea asked Lady Shopper 99. The answer is yes.
What does your dream world look like?
I mean, a world where like people obviously have control over their livelihoods, you know? I want to see a world where wealth isn't hoarded, you know? Where social services are funded. You know, people don't have to, you know, scrape by to live in the richest country in the world, the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that. I was going to say just like equal distribution of happiness too.
Of course, yeah.
Anything like aesthetically that would jump out to you as your perfect world?
No, because I really value like diversity in the world, you know, even if people have no taste, you know, if everyone had really good taste, then the world would be pretty boring.
That's the problem with, you know, proposed utopias, right? You gotta have imperfections among superficial perfection, which I think is the way to go.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Shout out Jeffy for asking this question. I'm definitely going to have to break out my laptop for this one.
Yeah.
I think I have my favorite 3 albums, but I definitely don't have my top 3 songs.
Your favorite 3 albums and top 3 songs from those albums. It was really hard. I was thinking about this earlier, trying to make a list, and my list was like 20 albums long. Though there will be a lot of honorable mentions on this.
One of them for sure is Tiger's Jaw's self-titled album. In so many life situations, like ever since I've been like 14 or 15, any tough situation I've been in, it's like almost always applied. Definitely the number one song off that album is the opening song, The Sun. Definitely my favorite. And I'm not even, like, I think favorites, it's so hard to choose a favorite.
You know what's really interesting? As I was making my list, I noticed a lot of my favorite songs were the opening tracks from these albums.
Opening tracks make or break the album.
Opening track, they really do.
Yeah.
Like
And then probably I Saw Water. I also really like Arms Across America. That one really hits.
Like the spikes, it's catching up to me. I guess To Pimp a Butterfly, like, immediately stands out to me, which, right here. Obviously by Kendrick Lamar. I think it's his magnum opus. Just like one of the greatest rap albums ever made, easily. It's perfect. It's a perfect album. And my favorite tracks would have to be, number one, probably Mama. It's a very feel-good song. These Walls, like, super groovy. And then the opening track, Wesley's Theory, which, like, is just this, like, crazy descent into, like, jazz madness and, like, really prepares you well for, like, the musical sound of the album, but also, like, the lyrical content, I guess.
Another probably top 3 album is The Lonesome Crowded West by Modest Mouse. Another one of my favorite songs, definitely in the top 3, is Teeth Like God's Shoeshine. That's the opening song as well. That's probably the best opening track of all time I've ever heard.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does what an opening track is supposed to do. It's a really great exposition. But even on its own, it's a magnificent track. Trailer Trash, it's always going to hit so hard. Yeah, kind of like a sleeper on the album, but Convenient Parking just hits so hard. Like the yelling is amazing.
Cool.
But probably subject to change. That's the thing, because my favorites are always changing. It's almost pointless to choose.
I think I'll say Yeezus. I think in terms of, like, what I'm listening to now, I think it had a really big impact at the time of it releasing that I didn't even really notice at the time. But now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, this album, like, you know, it's super industrial and electronic and experimental all in the same thing, but it's still rap.
Yeah.
And, like, rap will always be, I think, my favorite genre. And when it first came out, like, I was obsessed with Blood on the Leaves. Like, that song is so insane. With, like, the
really
crazy horn breakdown.
Such a good song.
Goes super hard. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Guilt Trip is another really good song with Kid Cudi. I like that one a lot.
So good.
And then Hold My Liquor.
Yeah,
which is just with Chief Keef.
He really makes the most out of Chief Keef.
And Chief Keef, like, absolutely kills that feature.
So good.
And then Mike Dean on the guitar on that, like, crazy outro is just like, that song's, like, all over the place in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
And, like, like you said, like, Kanye really got the best out of Chief Keef on, like, a beat that Chief Keef, like, wouldn't normally get on, you know?
I completely agree.
But that was the power of Yeezus, and I think it showed a lot of people, like, you can get on this, like, crazy industrial electronic stuff and,
That's
like,
so right.
and, like, really kill it.
For my last one, I have so many, like, favorite albums, but I just decided to go with Give Up by the Postal Service. I mean, Ben Gibbard's vocals, his lyrics, they're amazing. Dontel's production is unmatched. Probably my number one song is Sleeping In. I also really like The District Sleeps Alone Tonight. Another song that completely sets the stage for an album, has every sound that is going to be in the rest of the album. Clark Gable.
Okay.
That's such a funny song. He's talking about, like, he's on the London Underground, and then he's like renting out a camera and a van, and he's shooting this movie with a girl, and he's gonna, like, kiss her in a way Clark Gable would admire.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I have way more artists and, like, top albums of all time.
Yeah,
but
we'll do a bunch of honorable mentions after, like, our main list, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good call. We should do that.
We owe it to, like, these artists. You
Absolutely, yeah. Who's your last? What's your last album?
Malibu by Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think it was 2016. I want to say when that album came out. It's up there. That one. I also almost went with this one, which is I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside by Earl Sweatshirt.
That's also really good.
I'll shout out in a second, but. Malibu is just, like, a great mix, I think, of all, like, the genres that I'm really into. Like, obviously Anderson .Paak, great vocalist, but also incredibly good drummer, which, like, sort of keeps me in touch with, like that, how I was introduced to music. Like, my dad's a drummer, like, that's why I, like, first really probably got into it, and just, like, the rhythm of it. Great drummer.
Great drummer.
But also, like, the whole album is just, like, a crazy mix of rap and soul and R&B and jazz, funk, like, meshes it all together in a really beautiful way. I'd say my 3 favorite tracks are probably, again, an opening track, The Bird. It's a pretty slow song, but just like really shows off how good his vocals are. Then another one, Lightweight, which is more upbeat, like very fun, sort of West Coast, like driving along the sea, just like very fun song. And then the last one is The Season / Carry Me, which is sort of 2 songs in one with a switch in the middle. But like that opening beat is so crazy, and yeah, check out this album. It's really good, and I feel like a lot of people can approach that album without being offended.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a
I
good one.
completely agree.
Honorable mentions, like I have so many.
Yeah, I can start off by saying Veteran by JPEG Mafia.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, that's an amazing album.
Pretty life-changing album, I think. Crazy production, super experimental. Peggy's got so much energy.
Super hard lyrics. Like, he just hits so hard.
Just like
super unapologetic.
Left-wing Hades. Like,
he's a left-wing Hades, yeah.
And we've been blessed to see him twice live, which is awesome.
Went crazy. First time in a Starbucks.
Just an incredible amount of just crazy production. Like, so many bangers on this album. Like, Thug Tears comes to mind.
Yeah. Thug Tears.
Real N-Word comes to mind.
Yeah.
1539, the opening track, like, such a great song. Panic Emoji, like, crazy 808s on that.
Oh, yeah.
So good. So good.
Macaulay Culkin, great song.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a sleeper on the album, but I still really like it. Like,
I Can't Wait Till Morrissey Dies. Like,
yeah, like, Neither Can We, yeah.
Such a mix of just, like, super hard-hitting stuff, but then more melodic stuff, which he shows off on, like, Cornballs. Like, yeah, Peggy's easily one of the best artists out right now, and an incredible 100%. Performer. Like, if you can see him live, because he's so good live.
Yeah, it was really funny because we saw him at in a Starbucks. Technically, it's a really small stage. It's connected to a Starbucks, and our friend got punched. She like kind of dislocated her jaw a little bit
in the mosh pit. Yeah,
it was really funny. Like he was going into the crowd, he was spitting on the stage. They were threatening to kick him out. He said something like, "I'm not playing another song until they kick this dude out." And it was like one of the organizers of the event. Mm-hmm. It was so funny. And that guy just like walked out of the building and he kept playing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I really like appreciate that no fucks given. Right. Because like he knows he's right.
So unapologetic.
Just he's on the right side of history.
In your face.
He knows he's right on so many topics.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, you know.
Shout out Peggy.
Shout out Peggy for real. That's another dream collab for sure.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. This album right here. Earl Sweatshirt. It's a dark album. Earl's very in touch with himself on the album. He produced pretty much all of it. I think a lot of really cool samples on that album. Some like pretty hard-hitting tracks, and then there's opening tracks like Huey. That's like a lot more playful. And so it's kind of all over the place, but it's a masterpiece in my mind. Great album.
I would agree.
Love it.
Oh, I just thought of Beach Music by Sandy Alex G.
Cool.
Formerly known as Sandy Alex G. My bad. Bug is an amazing song. Mm-hmm. Kicker, one of the best instrumentals of all time. And then also Salt. Salt is a really good song. I think that was the first Alex G song that I ever listened to. Nice. I think it was in like a Noah and Frog skate edit. Oh, yeah, cool. It was a Noah and Frog collab, and then I really dove into Alex G after that.
Nice. I think I'll go to Mad Villainy next. MF Doom and Mad Lib. Rest in peace to MF Doom, who passed away. Easily one of the most influential rappers ever.
Yeah, one of the best artists of all time, I'm willing to say.
First of all, super iconic cover. Like, wow.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's amazing. This album's absolutely just stuffed with samples.
Yeah, like, so good.
And it gives you a great background of what Doom is all about. Sort of his persona, his like, you know, super villain background, and just there's so many crazy songs on it. I think of songs like Meat Grinder, where his flow is just ridiculous, like crazy wordplay. Yeah. And then like America's Most Blunted, just like really cool samples. Just like he was goofy, but he was extremely technically talented. And I think I don't know where I read this, but he was described as like your rapper's favorite rapper. Yeah. Which is like pretty true.
I heard someone say he's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah, something like that.
It all leads back to Doom.
It does. I think like one of the kings of underground rap. So have to shout him out. Rest in peace.
Die Lit by Playboy Carti.
Also on my list, of course.
I mean, it's almost cliche at this point because everyone loves this album. But I mean, it's really so good. I mean, this came out at a time when I didn't really listen to that much rap. And then the first concert that I went to ever in my whole life was Die Lit. Yeah, Playboy Carti touring Die Lit.
Die Lit tour.
Yeah, it's such a good album. I mean, it's a fucking classic. You know, it was released only 3 years ago at this point, but it's still a classic.
I'd have to agree. I mean, this is when I think we really realized that Carti was sort of coming up on a new brand of trap music. Like,
he's really not generic. He's in his own lane.
Like it's psychedelic and punk and weird and like hypnotizing.
And I really appreciate that.
Minimal.
He's really unique. He's really himself.
He's really unique, and he showed that on the new project too.
Yeah.
But this one, oh my god, just filled with so many incredible songs. Obviously, you have like your Shoutas and stuff like that, and Love Hurts that like really blew up. But my favorite tracks are like stuff like Flatbed Freestyle, like one of the best beats I've ever heard. And then R.I.P.,
of course,
which has like 3 layered 808s in it, and just like easily one of the hardest songs ever made. Just so good.
Yeah, I mean, even just like the sleeper songs, like Middle of the Summer featuring Red Cold Hearted, I mean, that's still so good.
Totally.
Also, like, Rip Fredo, probably my favorite song.
Yeah, that's like a song we really bonded over.
Yeah. When we first started hanging out, like, really, like, becoming close friends, like, we listened to that song, Rip Fredo, so much.
And then even songs like Poke It Out. Like, I feel like that song has gotten so much hate.
No, Nicki's verse is pretty good, to be honest.
But Nicki's verse is fire, that beat is fire, and like, that's just such a bouncy song. It just makes you want to like bob your head. Like, it's such a fun album.
It's really good.
But so creative at the same time.
Yeah. Do you have one off the top of your head, or
another one?
Yeah.
We gotta talk about some SBE DG shit. I feel like
for real.
I kind of want to talk about Poison Ivy. Like,
yeah, go off.
Yeah, so Poison Ivy's 8-track project by Young Lean, which kind of went under the radar. I feel like for even people like in the Drain, like SBE community.
Yeah, like I've always liked Young Lean, but I got back into him because of Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and
in 2018.
This album is, I'm pretty sure, entirely produced by White Armor, who we talked about a few times.
It's all White Armor. Yeah.
But it's a really good mix of sort of the more electronic side of like the SBE stuff.
Agree. Yeah. Bender, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Named after Bender from Futurama.
But also like sort of a double entendre there. Like sort of Lean being on a Bender. And like very in his feelings.
Yeah.
He's very in his feelings for a lot of this project.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's very personal to him. But then
Friday the 13th.
I was about to say, like,
R.I.P. Baron. R.I.P. Baron.
Friday the 13th was one of the greatest Young Lean songs of all time in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Also incredible music video.
Yeah, shout out Ingmar Bergman, shout out Marlon Brando.
Heavy Ingmar Bergman inspiration on that video.
Such a good video.
And then like tracks like Silicon Wings I really enjoy too. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the first like Drain and Sad Boys projects that like really made me fall in love with what they're doing. So gotta shout it out, I think.
Absolutely.
I feel like I gotta shout out Rodeo by Travis Scott. That like really changed up my perspective on music, I think.
Totally.
It's a little bit out of the picture, but it's at the top in the middle here. You can't see Travis's head. Say what you want about Travis these days, but that album I think was like really influential on where sort of trap, like Southern trap is now. I'd say for me like the best Southern trap album of all time, up there with like Dirty Sprite by Future. And I think that album was one of those that like really made me appreciate the production side of things and makes me want to make my production really good. So I have to shout that one out for sure.
If we're getting into DGSBE, At least right now, my favorite Blade project is Working on Dying.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, probably of all time, I think Ice Dancer is the best Blade project.
Ice Dancer's on my list for sure.
But Working on Dying, he's really experimental. Definitely the most experimental Blade project. But he's still so... Well, actually, Exeter is the most experimental Blade project. But besides Exeter, or before Exeter, rather, the most experimental Blade project was definitely Working on Dying.
Yeah.
And he's really, out there, but he's also hella locked in. Yeah. And for some reason, that album just hits me subjectively. Like, this is totally subjective. That album hits me like no other.
And I think projects like Working on Dying with, like, the last track, like, Best Buy.
Absolutely.
You're seeing, like, a very different side of Blade where he's, like, not even using auto-tune.
Yeah.
Which is pretty unheard of for him, but, like, Best Buy is a crazy song. And, like, definitely sort of an experimental side to those things. And then there's tracks like Lordship where, like, him and Young Lean are just in their bags, like, going crazy. And just, like, trading bars and switching flows. Like, it's so cool.
Absolutely going crazy. If I had to choose my top 3 songs from there, I'd say Best Buy, Cherry Bracelets. When I was first getting into DG, like after branching off from SBE, Cherry Bracelets was definitely one of my fave Blade songs. Yeah. And then I'd say Red Light Moments. It opens the album like so well.
Speaking of Red Light is another really good project by him.
Shout out.
That's one that's like really, really grown on me. Songs like Westfield, which I was talking about earlier, like really grew on me. And then there's Obedient on that. Him and Echo, like, like one of their greatest songs ever. Like, so good. And I think even people who I've showed Drain Gang and they were kind of like, I don't really get this. Like, I'm not really into it. Yeah. They like Obedient.
Everyone likes Obedient.
Everyone likes that song. Because it's just so well put together. And then you have, like, fan favorites like Decay on that album. And obviously Westfield, too. But...
Oh, and you got to give a shout out to... Nike Just Do It.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
like Steve Jobs a lot too.
Yeah. Such a good one.
Yeah.
For You, when we're drinking screwdrivers at the hardware store.
One of the greatest bars ever.
So true. Nike Just Do It is definitely just one of the most like cathartic Drain Gang songs of all time. Yeah. Hits so hard. Hits like nothing else, to be honest. Yeah. Although I was thinking today, it's so weird how Blade went from Nike Just Do It, which is probably his saddest song. Okay. He went from his saddest song to That Thing You Do, which is just a banger. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, really funny. But that's classic Blade, turning everything on its head.
For sure.
Love Stars.
Stars, Young Lean.
Absolutely love Stars.
Like, really exceeded all expectations. Like, I was really excited for it, but it, like, went above and beyond. And have it right here, like, the special edition vinyl. It's super sick.
Got the magazine, got the merch.
Magazine, the pamphlet with the lyrics, like postcard. There's a poster up there. Like,
had to get the Young Lean tracksuit.
Really hooked it up
with the Swarovskis on it.
Yeah, Acid at 7-Eleven. Like,
definitely my favorite song off the album. Probably my favorite song of the year.
One of his greatest. I love Dog Boy. Like, it's so bouncy and fun. Really,
every song is so good. Yeah. Every song is such a killer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Anything else coming to mind that you need to tell the people about?
Nothing else that I really need to tell the people about. I really love all these albums that we've listed, though. Yeah. Yeah. I think there was one last question, if you want to go back.
Oh, right.
It was Jonathan's, I think.
Was it Jonathan?
I wanted to say, so shout out Ardzier. Ardzier is asking, can U2 be stopped? Is it even possible at this point?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No. And I think even if someone wants us to stop, like, we won't. We don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck. But Tough Left Stem for L.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you tuning in to this. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of great NOMEN music coming out, hopefully very soon, if everything goes as planned. Anything else you want to add?
If you gave up, that's where you fucked up. Get your fucking racks up. No, for real. This is a Thetamancer fact. Keep going. Never stop. Yeah. You're special. Nobody can ever stop you. Always go get the bag.
Yeah. NOMEN Mob.
4L.
That's right.
4L, yeah.
Adios.